Hi, I'm Cory. I hope you, your friends, and family are doing well in these really unprecedented times. I've been working at home like normal, but feverishly working on a way to play the WitchBorn online. And look, the Cassell planes are there on my desktop, so we're really excited about the possibilities. And I want to give you a little tour of the capabilities. Up in this upper left-hand corner is the pointer tool. You're going to use that for a lot of stuff. There's two different ways to change the view. You can hit the plus and the minus to zoom in or zoom out. There's also this magnifying glass, and let's go down to like 60%. And you can see that there's a lot more there. We've got not only the board, but we've got a lot of storage area on the side. You might be familiar with the condition markers and discovery markers and some of the templates. The pointer tool, it's really simple to use. You can click and drag things wherever you would like, and the undo command works. So I'm going to hit Command Z, it goes back to where it originally was. You also need to be familiar with copying and pasting. I'm a little more anal. I guess you never guessed that about me. If I select this discovery marker, I can paste that and then drag that to wherever I'm going to need it for the game. And the reason I like to do it that way is because that way everything stays neat and organized. So if you're setting up for your first game, you're going to want some miniatures. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to the page toolbar. We've got war clans, we've got templates, we've got plains denizens in case you encounter them. If you're running the optional Burning Sky adventure, there's templates for that. If you're using War Mage Diary rules, there's rules for that. And then tabletop accessories is all this stuff that we've been clicking on around the border. If you accidentally delete all that or mess it up so horribly, you can always go back to tabletop accessories and copy it. But we're going to go into the war clans. Just click on it. It's going to load it, and you're going to see these circles are in proportion to what they are in the tabletop game, and they represent your miniatures. And we've done 3 colors for each war clans, from dark elves down to the Wanderers. And the reason why we've done 3 sets is first few games we even played testing this out, we had 3 orc war clans. It's just a little bit easier if all 3 orc war clans look distinctively different. I'm going to just draw a box around them, and now they're all selected and I could copy them. And then you go back to the map that we're playing on and paste. All my orcs appear. And when I go back to my orc roster, I don't have a number 2 or 3, so I'm going to delete those, blow them away. I don't have a number 5 because I have an ogre instead. I've got 6, 7, 8, no 9. I do have a 10 and 11, no 12, and I've got 1 war dog. And I have no need for the chariot, catapult, or rider. The next thing I've got to think about is, do my warriors need any templates? If we go under warrior templates, that's where you'll find your concealed templates, your hiding templates, your flying. If you're dark elves, you're going to be sunblind. If I had a catapult, I might use spellfire. If I was guild, I might have caltrops. Click whatever you need. So let's say I had a guy who could fly. I'll take a skimming and a soaring. So I click on these as I'm holding down the shift key. There's no way I would have this weird combination of stuff, but then I can hit copy and go back to the page that we're working on and paste. And so I've got them ready for the game later. All these templates are now currently in front of the miniatures. Draw a box around my odd collection here. I'm going to right click, and up is going to pop a little menu, and I'm going to say to back, and now it's behind all those creatures. And for something like an ogre, let's say I have conceal. So if I drag from the corner, it'll scale up. And so I don't need 2 sizes for every template. I can just make it before the game. I do have some spells. And so I'm going to go to the War Mage Diary, and I've divided them into Death, Divine, Earth, Sky and Water, and Fire spells. I just have Firebrand and Ring of Fire. I drew a box and it selected those three. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go back to our page and I'm going to paste. By doing it this way, I don't mess up the master page. And then I am going to select all three and send back. If I later cast Firebrand on my leader, it's underneath him. And let's say, for argument's sake, that I'm going to be in Area 2. So I'm just going to highlight all my guys, send them over to Area 2. So my Firebrand and my Rings of Fire are going to have to start off the edge of the map. And then I can go ahead and start positioning my guys. So we've talked a lot about this pointer tool up here. So let's talk about some of the other tools. The tool that we really need here is this ruler tool. And I want to make sure that you click the no snapping. So my first turn, I would probably have my Harbinger go first. My Harbinger can move at 6. And what we've done is we've said 1 inch equals 1 pace. 6 inches is his move because he has a 6 speed. If I start at the edge of his base and I draw 6 inches, what I want to do is I want to hold the shift key down, and that's going to actually freeze that little arrow in place. So I know exactly where I'm moving to. Then I've got to go back to that selection tool. I can drag my Harbinger down, and now he's moved his 6 paces. He's going to signal to everybody, so that means I get to interrupt 2 more times, and I have to mark him done, right? Click on this little white box underneath, click the X, and he's marked done. The arrow is going to stay up there, which is going to be annoying you once you get a couple arrows going. So you click back to the measurement tool and you click off, and that hides the arrow. So if I select my guy at the end of the round, I can hit the X and that erases it. So that's collecting chits, basically. And by the way, I didn't mention this before. You're still going to play with a marshal. You're still going to have chits. One person is going to announce, the orcs are up or the Norn are up or whoever's up. Still going to be pulling chits on his end. You'll be able to hear him shaking the cup and everything, so you know if he's cheating. And I get to go with 2 more guys. So just to clear space up, I'm going to sprint with my Tireless Scourge there. So I'm going to go back to that ruler tool, and he is going to run. Wow, it's only 9 paces to that standing stone. I might be able to get to the next. I'm going to try. Again, pre-measuring is not allowed. I'm going to risk it. And whenever you need to change course, on a Mac, you hold down the Q and then you can add on, and I can go my full 12, which is gonna not be exactly where I wanted to be, darn it. Remember to hit that shift key so that it stays on screen like that. I really needed about 12.5 or 13 to be safe. All right, so I'm going back up to the pointer tool, grabbing my Scourge, and I'm going to, with the ruler tool, click off that. I am within 0.5 paces. Anybody who's shooting me from over near the Cassell Plains type and even a little behind the standing stone there, I might have cover from them, but not exactly what I wanted. So I'm going back to the pointer tool. I'm going to pick an X. And normally, if you sprint, you get a condition marker. Now, because I'm tireless, I don't, but I do want to show you how the condition markers work. They're on every map edge. There's a big pile. You can select them, drag them, and they're over there. I like them on top, so I am going to go to front so everybody knows that I'm striking last. The other option would be to copy and paste one, and then it's already going to be on top. Condition marker wise, we have all the usuals. We have disarmed, strike last, stunned, staggered, shaken, and of course unconscious. So number 10 wants to move, and he's going to make a weird zigzag move just to demonstrate this Q key again. Drag, I hit Q, and I can hit Q again. I can hit Q as many times as I want. As long as I hit Shift at the end, he's good. Let's do this with 2 pushes. I'm going to go straight, 6. I'm going to hit the Q. I'm going to go 7, and then I'm going to hit the Q. I'm going to go 8, and I'm going to remember to hit that Shift key. I'll show you how the dice work in a minute, but let's assume that I made my first push. So I get 7 for sure, and then I get my 8th, but I fall down there. Unfortunate for me. I'm going to get a knockdown condition marker because there was no point of drawing like a knockdown position on all these. It would have been a lot of work and just more stuff to manage. So I go to the knockdown, and I'm going to copy and paste so it's on top. There's a real important reason that it's red instead of white. Don't want people to think that it's a condition marker by accident. You don't strike last when you're knocked down unless you get hurt. Somebody's going to roll damage on me, and maybe I'll get hurt. Maybe I'll get staggered or stunned or wounded from that. But just the act of falling down does not make you strike last. So I can put my X over my guy. So just for the heck of it, let's say next turn, cast Firebrand on my leader and my ogre. And now I've got decisions to make. It's on the very bottom. I can resize it, but I may just let it hang out just a little bit. And then on my turn, I'll just grab both of them and move the proper distance. So let's say that this is an enemy ogre instead of my ogre, and I've got a composite bow on number 6, and I want to shoot the ogre. I'm not allowed to pre-measure, but I think he might be in short range. So I'm going to take 2 shots from there. I have to get the ruler tool and measure from the edge of my base. So point blank is 4 paces. So definitely not in point blank range. And be sure to measure to the ogre, not to his templates, his stack of templates. And to the edge of the ogre is about 7 paces, so that's short range. Max for short range is 8. And let's say I was shooting number 10. Number 10 would have been in long range, which long range goes to 12. And very long is 20. So this thing will stretch any length you want. So here's where the dice come into play. And I want to go to the advanced dice roller. And we're only going to be rolling D6s. So I'm going to pick the D6. And I can shrink this screen down to just show really what we're interested in. Let's go ahead and shoot the ogre with the composite bow. Okay, so the first thing is an ogre is fearsome. I have to make a route check against the ogre. I'm going to roll our 1 dice. It's a D6. And because he's only fearsome, I get to add +3 to my roll. I'm going to roll, and it's going to pop up over here and rolls a 1, which is a fail. He's going to be shaken. All right. So I'm going to grab a shaken condition marker and put it on my guy. Okay, let's pretend that didn't happen. All right, I'm going to roll d6 and I get a 2 plus 3 is a 5, and that is better. I only needed a 3 to succeed, so I'm free to go ahead and attack. Next up is figure attack dice. A freebooter has 3 agility and an ogre only has 2. So now I get to add an attack dice, and we use the attack dice conversion table that is over here, where 6 is a critical hit, 5 is a shield hit, 4 is a parry hit, 2 to 3 is a miss, and a 1 is an oops. At this range, only a critical hit or a shield hit is going to succeed. Because I have a greater agility, normally I would roll 2 dice. Oh, but this ogre has conceal. Dang it. That means the most dice I can roll is 1. So I'm in a much worse situation now. So first shot, roll, and I rolled, comes up over here. I rolled d6, and I got a total of a 5. A 5 is a shield hit. The ogre does not have shield. I hit. All right. Now I get to roll damage. Damage is going to be 1d6, and the damage from my combo is plus 4. So 1d6 plus 4, and I rolled a 3 plus the 4 equals 7. And the ogre with Brigadine is an 8. So glances off the armor and done. So I'm going to do my second attack. 2 or 3 is just a clean miss. No harm, no foul. Let's say I would have injured, I would have had a successful damage feat on the first attack. Then I would roll an injury, which would be 1d6, and a composite bow adds plus 1, and so I would have hit roll. It would have been 2 plus 1 for a whopping staggered result. And then I can just go to the nearest staggered condition marker. I'm going to copy and paste so it's on front, and mark the ogre staggered. I'm going to hit the X and mark that guy done. Whenever I'm done with the dice roller, I can minimize it by double clicking it, and it'll just kind of float out there ghosty, and then I can get back to it, and it's really handy. I like that aspect, that it's always there. And if it's not in your way, you can just leave it in that position as well. The marshal is still in charge of the app. So if there's wounds, oops, discoveries, the marshal is going to take over the app. Apps that I want you to use are at witchborn.com/apps. And if you click on Enter Perdition, it will come up. And the reason I want you to use this app versus the one you get from the iTunes Store or Google Play is that this is always the most up-to-date, and it works just the same. You've got the Enter Perdition, the wounds, the oops, start new game. And you hit start new game and hit draw, and then as we go through a few encounters, they're also going to appear over there. So let's say that we did get this fresh meat encounter, and the GM needs to get out in this case, we'll just say one direwolf. Go to the page toolbar, go to Plains Denizens, you can select one or more of the wolves, and go back to the page we're playing on, and paste it in. And let's say it starts a couple paces from the ogre. You can go to the ruler tool. Let's say it's supposed to be 2 paces away, and you can literally use the ruler tool to move it exactly where it's supposed to be. That is the little tour in a nutshell. Pretty much everything else works exactly like it would on a tabletop game. Watch for an announcement when it's ready, and until then, stay healthy.